When you start up Visual Studio, one of the first things you have to do is make sure you go to View and you go to Solution Explorer. You're going to need a Solution Explorer for everything that you're going to do. Now if we take a look at Solution Explorer, here's our Lab1 project, and if we want to create a C file, we have to right mouse click and say Add, New Item, and then it's going to come up with a number of things that we can do for a new item. So what we want to do is create a C++ file, and we just double click here, and as soon as it does, it brings us up a screen that we can start creating our C source file in. So the first thing that we wanted to do, as we saw before, is type integer main void, type bracket, and say return 0. And if we want to run this code, we just hit the arrow here, and it says, would you like to build it? And we say yes. And we saw that there was a flash of a screen and then it disappeared. And we can see that in our lab that this is going to happen, because this basically does nothing. But what we want to do is let's add some stuff. For instance, if we wanted to print something out like hello world, we have to put up here as $include bracket stdio dot h, and you can even see it in the list there, so we have to make sure it's got .h. And what this is for, and we can put a double slash here, and that means it's green and it's going to be a comment, and this is definition for printf, and we'll also see later for getchar, so we need it for getchar, as we'll see in the lab. Now what you're going to find is here, any commands that we put in have to go in before the return 0. So let's just do a printf quote hello world, like so, put a semicolon at the end which terminates our statements, and as it showed later, we can do getchar, which is also uses the definitions here. So let's put a comments here, output message, wait for enter key, and over here we will say return 0 to operating system. Now if we go up here and run this by hitting the arrow, and again it's going to say would you like to build it, and we'll say yes. This time it's going to say hello world, and if we hit the enter key, boom, it disappears. Let's try something. If we can just put a double slash here, this makes this a comment, and if we run it this time, then it's going to say just do this, and this is not really an instruction. By putting a double slash here, it makes it a comment and it's no longer a valid bit of code. So let's just run it and see what the difference is. If we say yes, it's going to basically say hello world so quickly that we couldn't actually see it. Now the next thing we're going to try is let's print out a different message. Let's take printf how are you question mark. Now if we want to run that, we hit this arrow again, and again it's going to ask us would we like to build it. We say yes, and it say there were build errors. Uh-oh, what does that mean? Let's hit the no and take a look down at the bottom, and what it's saying here is it expected a semicolon. And one of the things that we'll find is that each statement has to be terminated by a semicolon, and there it is. That's where it needs it. So we're just going to hit this guy to run it one more time. We're going to say yes, we want to build it, and then we can see hello world, how are you? But isn't this interesting? We've got two different print statements, but all of the output shows up on one line. So one of the things you're going to learn is that printf, just having a printf and another printf, does not put stuff on separate lines. So one special character, and special characters are preceded by a backslash. So if we put a backslash n, that means new line. And so if we run it now, what we're going to find is that this will show up. Let's do the yes. We're going to see is the messages now show up on two separate lines, because we put in a backslash. Now let's change things around. Let's just hit the enter key here. Pardon me. So one of the other things we can do is let's try doing something a little different. Let's just take the rest of this message here, how are you, and let's Control C and Control V it into here, and let's get rid of this guy completely. Put everything on one line and see what happens this time. I wonder what's going to happen. Well, let's try running it. Say yes. This time we can see that we have one print line here, but we have two output lines here. \n means this thing will start on the next line. So one print can generate two different prints, but two prints can generate maybe just one. So that's why this \n, which is the new line character, is a very important character to use in a print statement. Let's try another thing. Let's try putting in here another print statement, such as printf \n, not bad, \n, how are you? I wonder what that's going to look like on output. So let's hit the run button here. Let's hit yes and see what our output looks like. Now there's a way to actually capture this output and actually include it in your program, and what you can do is right mouse click up here, go to edit, say mark, and just highlight with the left button this text here. Then you can say right mouse click, edit, copy. And once you've done that, you can just hit the enter key to close this, and right after your program you can put a /*. And what that means is that anything in between this is a multi-line comment. Now if we did the copy, we can do Control V, and there's actually your output of your program exactly inside the comments. And because these are comments, they are not executed as code. So there's your program, there's the exact output. Isn't that cool? Now one last thing I'm going to get you to do, and that is to put your name in a programmer's block using this multi-line comment, /*, boom, 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 like this. So we're going to put in a title using print f and get char. Author will be your name, not mine. Date, when it was created. Now this happens to be April 18th, 2018. And description of what our code's supposed to do. For now, we'll just say using printf and get char. And once we've done that, we want to say file, save, and then we can get out of this by just saying exit.